Hi, this is another segment of Truth by Billie Beene. Today's date, October 15, 2024, time about 7 p.m. in Texas. So, our first headline, two-headed for the Gulf of Mexico. President Trump will use war law for the deports. And North Carolina out of water and body bags, sadly. And rumors of World War III. I had a Patriot subscriber who said Sunday morning we had a storm. This is in Ohio. I've never seen before. We had green flashes, not the normal purple and white. And today, would have been Monday, we had misty rain and not a cloud in the sky. I have another Patriot subscriber for yesterday. In northeast Kansas, my flowers froze. Last night it was 75 degrees and now it's 29 degrees. So we see weather changes coming. So we have this from Axios. President Trump will use a 1798 law, 126 years old, to deport illegals under the Alien Enemy Act of 1798. And President Trump can use this if there is war, a condition of war. And he's calling it Operation Aurora. And we'll see how this goes. And this law can be used when the U.S. has declared war on any foreign nation or government. And it's been used 3 times in the past, all in times of war. 1812, World War I, and World War II. So that's going on. And I'd also like to cover what's going on in the tropics. We now have this system on the other side of Cuba that, according to spaghetti models, I believe that was on Daily Mail, will turn and go into the Gulf of Mexico. Now has a 30% chance of development in the next 48 hours, 50% in the next 7 days. It's predicted to change from a low pressure to a tropical depression. If it further strengthens, it will be named Nadine. The other system, the one that's developing around the Yucatan, as we saw with Milton, has a 10% chance of development in the next 48 hours, 20% in the next 7 days. It will be named Oscar if it becomes a storm, and is also predicted to go into the Gulf of Mexico. So this scenario fits with the intel I received that the deep state wants to juice up 2 more hurricanes before the November election. So let's pray that away. And we have this. Talking about America being in a state of war. Now, the president cannot declare war. Only Congress can do that. Under the War Powers Act, the president may activate U.S. military for a period of 90 days, but that's only in response to something unexpected. What you see developing in the world, the president cannot order the U.S. military to a combat status. Now we have this coming out, the House Resolution 559, passed September 1, 2023. Congress authorizing the U.S. military to respond to Iran if Iran developed nuclear weapons. And it contains the U.S. policy that the U.S. military will use all means necessary to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Well, we now know Iran does have nuclear weapons. We understand they've been about 24 to 48 hours ago pre-positioned on launchers, ballistic missiles, and tactical nukes inside Iran. So that's going on. So that may be the state of war that President Trump is alluding to when he says he'll use the war law of 1798 to deport the illegals. And we have this from Judge Napolitano, recent interview with Scott Ritter. Yes, and other sources, Hal Turner. The U.S. has sent to Israel THAAD, and now we have that they've also been sent to Ukraine and also to Taiwan. So we see a pre-positioning of the U.S. military into potential combat zones. When the THAAD, the defense system, goes where it goes, also the U.S. military goes, because it is a proprietary system and only the U.S. military is trained to operate it. So we have equipment and troops going to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. And you say, oh, I didn't know we were authorizing troops to go to Ukraine. Apparently, that's happening. So that's going on. And President Trump is talking about a 90-day surprise, also about using the War Act to deport the illegals. So that's going on. Now we have this. We have from Natural News, that would be Mike Adams. He has sent truckloads of food to North Carolina, and he sent them to be distributed by American citizen groups. And also, this is coming out from Mike Adams' posting. A local police officer in North Carolina, Mike DeStefano, he has a site, I believe it's on X, says don't donate to FEMA. And he gives some additional good groups to which to donate money for North Carolina citizens: Samaritan's Purse, Mercy Chefs, Mike Adams, Health Ranger, and I'd already mentioned Ryan Hall and Appalachia Homestead with Patera. So there are some good groups who will get supplies and food and water to people on the ground. Now, in North Carolina, in Asheville, we have a complete destruction of their municipal water system, as I had demonstrated in a few videos past. In North Carolina, the roads are gone, underground pipes are gone, but for Asheville, yes, their municipal water system will have to be rebuilt, but before that, roads will have to be rebuilt to get the equipment to Asheville. And they are running out of water. In North Carolina, 2 million people are under a boil water requirement. That means they do have municipal water, but they need to boil it before they cook with it or drink it. But they would have water for showers and flushing toilets. In Asheville, since the municipal water system is out, they have no water whatsoever. And obviously, since all the underground pipes are out for water system and septic system, there's no flushing commodes. So that's going on. And we have this. Yeah, Mike Adams sent truckloads of food to be distributed by American citizen helicopter groups, because we know FEMA is out. GeoModels came up with another good video. I'll link that for you, explaining the catastrophic mud flow and water system that would have come down and destroyed Chimney Rock through the Hickory Nut Gorge. Now, my position remains this would have been predictable by meteorologists, geologists, flood managers, emergency management. They would have been able to foresee this, particularly using computer models. And he talks about the heavy rain that came in, 30 inches of rain before the storm came in. And they had rain days before. And then what happened was the water and debris then flowed down from a height of 11,000 to 12,000 feet above sea level down to 2,000 feet. That's what destroyed much of North Carolina, and I believe it was predictable, and no warning was given to the people of North Carolina. Now, JWTV is coming out with this. Connecticut is closing FEMA offices in Wilton on Monday. And North Carolina, just last night, they had 15 people pass away from hypothermia. This is another reason they need additional body bags. Those people who didn't die from the flood and mudslides now are passing away from the weather. And we have this worrisome element coming up in many sites about that recent change by the Department of Defense, a change to posse comitatus, that the U.S. military can now legally use lethal force against individuals and groups of individuals. I believe that really applies to the illegals. Now we have this. What's going on in Israel? Yesterday, October 14, in secret, the U.S. and Israel stood up a joint command and control center. The U.S. will be engaged with Israel, apparently, in attacking Iran. Now we have this. And Israel has also invaded Syria. That happened October 12. And we have, they went into Syria for an assault that lasted 1.5 hours. Israel advanced 500 meters inside Syria. So I would think Syria had some serious pushback there. 500 meters is not very far. And also trees were bulldozed. And it's coming out that Israel closes some areas in western Galilee. Galilee would be on the border with Syria. And I have brought out before that the Golan Heights legally is still a part of Syria. And we have this. Israel has also been attacking inside Lebanon, and we understand the IDF has only been able to advance 2 kilometers. And just yesterday, Lebanon sent into Israel a new type of drone we understand came from Russia that was not detectable by Israeli radar. Hit an Israeli mess hall at one of their bases. I believe it killed 5 to 10 IDF and wounded about 70. So that's going on. But the real issue is Israel and the U.S. now planning a joint attack on Iran. And we understand the THAAD system came in by C-17 right on the border between Jordan and Israel last night. It takes a few days to set the THAAD system up. It's an air defense system. So it's believed it will be a few more days. And we have this. About October 13, Israel attacked inside Iran near one of their nuclear sites, Isfahan. There were reports of explosives heard. And we have this. Yes, Israel fired explosives near an Iranian nuke site. And also people were hearing the sound of F-14s over Tabriz. Hal Turner says this, hearing the flights is unconfirmed. And we have this. Also October 12, yeah, that's when the U.S. surged THAAD, but we understand it arrived last night. The THAAD cost $3 billion, and it will reinforce Israel's air defense against Iran. And now we have this from WERX. Israel, today, he's talking about the war cabinet, okays hitting Iran. The part about the U.S. and Israel yesterday setting up a joint command and control, that was intel. And Hal Turner on October 13, yeah, U.S. and Israel stand up a joint command. So yesterday, we have a slight time difference. Israel's ahead of us time-wise 7 hours. Now, this is news that we currently have in the Mediterranean or in this area near the Strait of Hormuz. We have the Abraham Lincoln carrier. We had heard that the Truman carrier group was also going to move to the Middle East. But suddenly, yesterday, we are hearing the Truman is heading north. It's going by Spain and then into the North Sea, which is in the area of UK. Why the sudden change in the Truman carrier group is unknown. Yeah, and it's not going. Also to Ramstein in Germany. Flights are going to Ramstein, although Germany, about 3 weeks ago, closed their borders and said they were not a part of the Schengen plan. That's a plan in Europe where NATO troops and equipment could freely move across barriers. Germany said just 3 weeks ago they were closing their border for 6 months. So I'm not quite sure why the U.S. is surging additional flights to Germany. So that's going on. And we have this. Also NATO with 100 planes, including F-35s, Raphael and Gripen, are currently doing a war exercise over Europe with their planes, juicing up their engines, it sounds like. Hal Turner, okay, yeah, we have a joint command and control group in Israel, and Israel military, Israel flew a plane from Israel. They flew over Belarus on the border with Russia, going to Moscow. That happened yesterday. it's speculated that Israel was going there to ask Russia not to help Iran. And we have this. A U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon, on October 14, yesterday, 2 p.m. The ambassadors there were given the order, evac now. And we have this. October 14, Israel has a plan to hit. Okay, Israel has come out and said when they hit Iran, they will not hit nuke sites nor oil depots, but will concentrate on hitting Iranian military locations. And now we have this. Germany today said they were ending money and weapons to Ukraine because Germany has no confidence that Ukraine can be successful on the battlefield. And now we have China, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan. I'm going to put all these things on the table and then give what I think might happen. Okay, so we had yesterday North Korea blowing up all of the roads and railroads between North Korea and South Korea. And we had a report today from New York PREPPPER that North Korea then crossed over the DMZ, their boundary between North Korea and South Korea today. North Korea went inside South Korea to put down explosives on South Korea's side to finish blowing up roads. And that is when, late this afternoon, South Korea troops fired on North Korean troops. So we see that going on. North Korea, since yesterday, has been in a full combat alert. And Monday had a national security meeting that placed North Korea in an immediate military action position. Now, it's believed that North Korea is doing this in response to South Korea recently flying drones over South Korea, dropping propaganda leaflets. I really am not buying that. So we had Kim Jong-un ordering North Korea military to the border with South Korea. And what do we have going on with Taiwan? We have China doing an exercise, Joint Sword, October 14 and 15, with 153 planes, 14 ships, and 12 vessels. And they breached the airspace of Taiwan in all 4 directions. So that's going on. Now, Hal Turner's intel is, it's believed that Israel and Ukraine and, Ukraine. So it's being put out that NATO has made no decision about okaying using long-range missiles from the UK and US from Ukraine into Russia. But that does not appear to be accurate. It's believed that the US and UK and NATO did okay that, and that all 3 of these war situations, Israel, Ukraine, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, and China, could possibly go hot in the next few days. And Hal Turner's intel It's believed that the deep state will make this action during the period of time that the U.S. really doesn't have a president operative. So that's going on. Now, this is my thinking that, yes, a lot of these situations could go hot, and we could see the U.S. military involved in these areas in active combat situations. So that's going on. Now I'll bring this out. Additional news on the white hats and red hats, U.S. military and U.S. American citizen militias pushing back against FEMA. And this is a report about what they did when Milton was coming into Florida. Near Lake Okeechobee, the FEMA had pre-positioned 3 SWAT semi-trailers, trucks, near Buckhead Ridge on Lake Okeechobee. The motors were left running on 2 out of 3. The 111th Aviation Regiment, U.S. Army, did recon on the FEMA location, and then boots on the ground went in, and the white hats and red hats then blew the doors on the trucks. This was the night that Milton was coming in. They found the SWAT semi-trailers full of automatic weapons, tactical gear, sniper rifles, pistols. 6 FEMA agents leaped out of the SWAT units, blindly firing. They were neutralized. And then the white hats and red hats found orders inside one of the units that all that military gear was to be delivered to the FEMA location in Sarasota, euphemistically called a disaster recovery center, when Milton had made landfall. So that's going on. We see the U.S. military and American citizen militias working together, push back against FEMA. And now I'd like to bring this out. Have you heard the song Going by the Book by Johnny Cash, talking about war and rumors of war? And some of the lines, the prophets wrote about it, Jesus spoke about it, and John got to take a look. It's good to be in prayer for America, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.